at the very beginning of this show. Cammy, Artur, I cannot believe they find themselves the Victory Royale. Just for clarity, they came in and ended day 1 in 14th place. And now they're going to start day number 2 with the Victory Royale and eliminations. I mean, this is exactly what we've been talking about. I'm so surprised. And gentlemen, we're going to break down kind of what went down a little bit more in just a little bit. But remember, we've got the standings. We have these cumulative leaderboards. You've still got Mongraal, Mitchell, and Tayson. They're far and away, even after that game, I mean, 40 points ahead? I don't know how they're doing this.
It's like they didn't win that last game, but they did not lose it either. They got to survive all the way till the very end, and now they have an even bigger lead, Reese.
17-point match for them. Really nice. And like obviously, like we've said, we need to keep this consistency up. They're already coming in strong on the first game of day 2, consistent as they were yesterday. We can see kind of Andalex not managed to get that many points, only 4. So they've still holding on to that second place spot. But you know, they really want to be trying to bridge that gap between first and second. And so far, it's only gone a little bit further.
Yeah, so our top 3 also switched up with Benji going down to 5th, and then we see another trio, Kinzel, Wolfies, and CRR get 3rd overall. This is what Zeke was talking about, though. Raxo, Cammy, and Artur of Victory Royale, 14th place all the way now to 6th with 76 points.
Wow, that's impressive. And, you know, to answer a little bit of Sancho's questions, how did they do it? They did it because they were popping off on low ground, being really consistent. They managed to keep that mobility for the end game, take height, and win the game that way. So really nice play from them, pushing them up from 14th all the way up to 6th.
Yeah, and all the way from 6th down to 15th. There's been a few switch ups here and there. Nate, Rojo, and Bobo move all the way up to 11th from 15th from what we saw before. Cooler, Robabs, and Blackie are getting that Victory Royale, but are slightly teetering off now, dropping out of the top 10 place. And Paige, we'll see if they can bring it all the way back. Vettel, Eyedrop, and Stair6 also a trio to look out for that plays very consistently. And Falconly, Yaxo, and Skype, I love actually seeing their names now. It looks so clean in 15th place. 47 points, not too far behind the competition. Still very close for the top 15.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it when you can read the names, it's clear, and you can find the players. I'd love it. And all the teams that you're seeing here between 16th and 20, you know, most of these guys are really struggling with that early and mid game, in particular with Storm Surge. You know, these guys in this grand finals kind of lobbies, going for Storm Surge tags is extremely difficult, and your strategy really needs to be down. Queasy Milan Chapix in 19th, coming out of Craggy, is really struggling with that right now. So hopefully they can figure out their strategy, get their points, and keep moving.
I think we could chalk some of this up to just first game jitters, right? Like, we watched the top 3, except Mongraal, Mitchell, and Tayson, kind of fall a little earlier on than expected. But again, we've got 7 total games. We've got 6 more. It's okay, just first game jitters. Let's just test the waters. Okay, game 2. It's time to bring it. Let's go ahead and talk about what kind of transpired in this last game, as well as walk back through the Victory Royale. There's a couple key things that happened there that if you blinked, you missed it.
Absolutely. Throughout the entire FNCS, we've been focusing on the top 8, the top 15. Now it's about the top 3, especially from day number 1 and how they looked. Mongraal, Mitro, and Tayson landing over at Stark Industries, one of the best POIs, and they had a very good game in day number 2.
Some would say the best POI, but the second best POI, in my opinion, over at Doom's Domain. We're checking in with what was our 3rd place team, which was Benji, Savage, and Lecce. They are contested similarly to the end few games of day 1 by the dual media trio, fighting off spawn every game now.
Yep, and Reese, this is your pick over at Sweaty Sands. They're looking pretty strong as well.
They're looking strong, and you know, the Twitter was going wild about Sweaty Sands last night. They were talking about it heavily because it is a fantastic drop spot, but unfortunately they didn't seem to manage to perform out of it that day.
Yeah, over here, we'll tune in with Tayson, Mitro, and Mongraal. The reason they find themselves in this low ground chaos is because Cammy, Artur, and Raxo saved all their shockwaves, saved their actual crash pads, took height in the 8th zone. Ooh. These guys only had enough mats to sustain, not retake height, and they ended up falling. Here's Lecce, Benji, and Savage continuing that fight with a dual media trio over at Doom's Domain. Lecce goes down. It's just Savage and Benji left in the end game.
Yeah, it's just Savage and Benji left. They did what they could, but that fight took them way too long. They ended up being in the zone with 2 other trios in the 2nd zone, still in Doom's Domain. Made them rotate late, and that left them with horrible materials because they ended up getting focused in that endgame.
And we have Andalex, X-Squeeze, and Janice in the end game as well. Also a little bit shambles. It looks like all these day 2 trios have improved. These day 1 type of top performers, the top 3, are looking to repeat things, but they will have to adapt to how these teams, such as Raxo, Artor, and Cammy,